doing today. Got a very special episode straight from the residents. Got residents and citizens here today. Brandon Franklin from Louisiana. And the I love Jackson State University. I'm gonna give an intro now.
Yep, my name is Brandon Franklin from the great city of Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm a graduating senior majoring in health, physical education, and recreation with a concentration in therapeutic recreation.
So, what made you choose Jackson State University?
What led me to Jackson State University, to be honest, is the Sonic Boom of the South. I wanted to be a member, wanted to be a trombone player. Yeah, that's what led me. I used to watch videos in high school of the band all the time, like the whole day. So yeah, I was a diehard fan of the band.
So you said you from Louisiana? You moved to Jackson?
Yeah.
So those Southern right there probably mad at you.
Right, you're right. It just outweighed, the Sonic Boom of the South just outweighed everybody, just outshined everybody. The 5 drum majors, just looking at them, I'm just sitting there mesmerized, looking at how they go, like how they do it. So yeah, that definitely drove me to Jackson State. And just being away from Louisiana.
Yeah. So how's your journey been since you've been at Jackson State? How's it was transition out from Louisiana, coming from your hometown, going to college for the first time?
Yeah, it was definitely a shock. I wouldn't say a culture shock, but it was a shock. I'm a first generation college student, so all of this is new to me. All of this is new to my immediate family. So definitely a shock. The pamphlets and the brochures that I got in the mail from other schools, like from the PWIs, it wasn't like I imagined it here. Like I imagined, like, you know, a crowded university with people studying in the grass and stuff like that. You know, the cookie cutter college, you know, quote unquote. But when I got here, it was just an eye opener. I felt automatically, I felt at home, you know, being around people like me. Very heartwarming, very open arms. Yeah, I just love it. I felt the love. So, yeah.
All right, so how did you get up into, you know, want to get into that health?
Health field? I always wanted to be in the health field. I'm actually going to grad school for occupational therapy. Okay. So I'm going back home to LSU for that. But I've always been interested in the health field. I've always loved helping people. I've always been interested in medicine and physical health and physical medicine. So I say around 7th grade, I was introduced to physical therapy, occupational, just all of the allied health. And I think occupational and physical therapy stuck out to me. And I just chose it, and I've stuck with it ever since then, ever since 7th grade.
All right, so you've been an RA for about 2 years now?
Yeah.
So how's the whole process of becoming an RA?
The whole process, I wouldn't say it's hard, but it was, I don't want to say it's challenging either. It was just professional development, you know. It was steps in order to get where you want to go. So you just have to do the resume, you know, do the interview, sell yourself just like at a regular job interview. I tell you one thing, Jackson State residents, housing department, they didn't cut corners on interviewing us like, they didn't put us in a back, like interview, you're a student, so, you know, we're not gonna interview like a real employee. They interviewed us like a real employee because we are real employees. And they treat us like student leaders because we are student leaders. So I want to say that they hold us at a higher top priority because, you know, we're kind of somewhat the face of the school too. We're the face of the residence department. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, like, what are some things that go through your head, like in your day-to-day job, being an RA? You know, having, you know, talk to certain people, getting certain things done, you know, having to put down some authority at times.
Yeah, definitely putting down some authority at times. Because what people don't understand is we're students, but we're student leaders too, and we have a job to do. Like, that's why we got hired by the housing department, because they saw something in us and we had to prove something to them, you know. So of course, being amongst our peers and having to differentiate, our job and our friendships. So I definitely say that it took a job to do that, and I guess you just have to learn how to juggle the two. Just choose your battles, and don't take everything personally.
Yeah. So, what are some things you do about your job? I know you do school, you got RH stuff. I don't know if you got like another job or something off campus or anything.
Yeah.
So how do you like juggle everything?
So yeah, I just time management. Time management is key. I try to allot the appropriate time for certain things. I still try to have a social life. I still try to have time for myself, because self-care is important. Self-care is the best care. So I don't know, just between my internship, it's an 8-hour work day, and then come back, do this RA job. You just have to kind of prioritize, and time manage, like what needs to be done. What needs to be done first, what can be done second, and then finally what can be done third. And throughout all of it, try to prioritize and focus on yourself throughout all of it. Because if you don't, then you will get exhausted really fast, and all of it will seem very tiring. You would look at like, why am I doing this? Yeah, like you will get overwhelmed. You will get overwhelmed. So time management and prioritization is very, very important.
So I know a lot of people come here and they're that freshman year, I see everybody at the Plaza be paid, everybody at the hot spots, going to parties, doing this and that, and I just get caught up and they forget they're at school.
Yeah.
So how do you know? I know most people come, they don't have their parents up on them. I don't know if their parents on you, but just a student that has, I always say like their mom or dad, keep them in line, keep them straight. They get here, they're free, don't get nobody, hey, wake up and get to class, you need to be studying right now,
Right.
and you be out the 4 in the morning.
Right.
So how was that for you?
For me, I was never a party goer. I was never out there too much, I like to say. But I say partially, well, mostly was being raised by a strict grandmother, and she taught me like education is first. You didn't go down there to party and to have a good time. You went down there to get an education. And the other part is just being like, again, a student leader, and it's some things that we should and shouldn't partake in, and then when we do partake in it, we partake in it in a certain way. We have to carry ourselves a certain way, because whether we know it or not, our peers, students, are looking at us, and if they see us doing something wrong or seeing us doing something outlandish, then why can't I do it? My RA is doing it, So I believe that it's very important to, when you have a certain title, to just display it to other people, whether they're looking or not. Just display it to other people in an appropriate way. And then, like again, going back to my roots, I wasn't sent down here, and that's what I kept in the back of my mind. I wasn't sent down here to go to parties, to act up. I was sent down here to get a bachelor's degree in what I wanted to get a bachelor's degree in, and then have a good time doing it, of course. But no, I'm done. That was my answer.
All right. So what you have this internship, how's it going?
My internship is really interesting. It's going very well.
Where you interning at?
I'm interning at the GV Montgomery, the VA Medical Center of Jackson, in the recreational therapy department. It's going really well. I'm learning a lot. And I'm really glad that my curriculum built an internship within its curriculum itself. So I get a lot of professional development. I get a lot of constructive criticism, all of that good stuff. And many people look at it like, it's free work, it's free labor, you're not getting paid for it.
I see it's like good experience.
Yeah, but it's really good experience, and it's something that I can take along with me to grad school and to even other jobs, So it's going really well.
So how would you like pivot into that? I know you said it's kind of encouragement, so I can choose from a place, just a list of places, or maybe there's something you already was thinking about?
Well, yeah, you get to choose you get to choose wherever you want to go, basically. but the pandemic, hit, and when the pandemic hit, it kind of limited our choices. So, but working at a hospital, I really wanted to do clinically, because in my field, you can go wherever. You can go to schools, hospitals, prisons, jails. A recreational therapist can be practically anywhere. But I really wanted to hone in on the clinical arena. So I did choose the VA Medical Center on purpose, because I wanted to get that type of experience, kind of get my feet wet in that field.
All right. So how was the transition over from last year? It was kind of like more free for the pandemic this year, and be a lot more cautious and be watching out for everything. And, some students feel like it's taken away from their experience that they want to do stuff that's normal. So how's that been?
Generally, I mean, like I said, I wasn't out there like that. You couldn't catch me on the not on the quad, but on the plaza every Friday. I wasn't out there, but I would say that it definitely changed things, because in my senior year I did want to dabble in other things, and I did want to be out more, participating more in anything, because I'm senior and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So I did want to kind of, quote unquote, make my mark on the school, but unfortunately I couldn't. But I'm looking at other ways to do that. It doesn't necessarily have to be face to face or in person, but that kind of did. The pandemic kind of did put a damper on my senior year, but I try to take an optimistic view on that and try to turn it over for good.
Okay. I know y'all do like some events and stuff already to the last semester. I know, like each already had like a week or something to do y'all events.
Right.
So what like your thought process going to like going when it's going to make your week do an event or your week to lead something?
Yeah. Well, about that, like when the REs plan to do the events, it's like our hands are kind of. I want to say our hands are kind of tied, restricted, but. We have to follow a certain protocol that the housing department gives us because of the pandemic. Yeah. And the university has protocols of its own on social distancing and group gatherings and all of that. So we can't implement programs that we used, how we used to do 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic. So we just have to, I guess, be more creative. And trying to come up with activities that you guys would like to participate in, and some of that probably include like getting information from you guys, seeing what you guys want to do over Zoom, or probably a smaller gathering, probably 4 to 6 people, socially distanced, of course, safe. But yeah, I say that it's better for us to kind of like interview y'all and trying to get feedback from y'all on what y'all want to do. Since we're kind of more
protocol. What are some things you learned over your last 2 years of being RN? What some of the skills you feel you learned?
And some of the skills, definitely learned professional development, customer service. I learned not to take everything personal, of course. And I just learned how to work with people. People of all ages. I was working at Kroger for 5 years, and I thought that taught me customer service. But being at this RE job and working with parents that are kind of disgruntled, students that are kind of disgruntled about work repairs and work orders in their room. It's just a lot, and I had to learn how to maintain myself, maintain my professionalism, and just try to rectify the problem at hand, because after all, they are paying to stay here, or their parents or whoever is paying, they have a right to stay here. So
So what are some things you'll tell some people who might be inspired to be an RE in the future, or like looking to become one soon?
I would say just get involved in campus activities. Try to be sociable. Try to get to know people. So that way, when when the position comes, you know, you're already on a friendly basis with a lot of people. Another thing I would say is try to work on your professionalism. Don't think that just because this is a student leadership position that you can just slop something up on a paper, you know, that you can just jumble up something on a resume. It doesn't work like that. Like, they actually read those resumes, and they actually read those letters of recommendation. So just carry yourself in a respectable manner. Respect yourself, respect others, because you never know who's looking at you. You never know. So yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's some good career out there. Like you said, I know y'all probably like pay me to probably take you to your house or meal plan or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. They did have an option, but that was, I guess they retired that. But now you get your housing paid for, and you get $350 a month.
So I'm about to get to one of my favorite parts of the show called Fatal Forward.
Okay.
So it's just 4 quick questions for you to see your perspective on this university perspectives.
Okay.
So first question, like I always ask anybody, if you walked outside today and somebody cut you $1 million check, what would you do?
You said $1 million?
Yeah, $1 million check.
What would I do? I think I would invest in a few businesses so that money can come back tenfold.
Yeah. Alright, so if you can network with any one person in the world that ever came through, who's you network with?
If I could network?
You network with anybody that ever, you know, lived or came through.
Anyone in the world. I would say, and just networking, right?
Yeah.
I would say probably Jeff Bezos, the Amazon owner.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Right. So if you could have $500,000 in a revolving credit line that you have to pay back, but you can pay every month on a revolving credit line, or you can get $500,000 cash, which one would you take?
$500,000 cash. Straight up, yeah. I don't want to owe nobody nothing. I don't want to be in debt no more than I have to be.
So when you know that $500,000, you get there every month, you go flip that $500,000, you know, like a couple houses, get some rent in, or you go flip them and get some profit and pay that back, though.
Yeah, that is true, but I don't know. I might get caught up and you know, can't not be able to pay that back. Run up all that $500 and then not be able to pay it back. So I'll be in trouble then.
Yeah. Moving to our last question, though. If you go talk to 18-year-old Brandon, what would you tell him?
Oh, 18-year-old Brandon. What would I tell him? I would tell him to just stay true to yourself and stick to what you know, stick to what you was raised on. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job getting it right now. So, yeah, that's what I would tell him.
Got any last word for the audience, or you want to give them social media handles?
Yeah, my Instagram is, what is my Instagram? I think it's _b.noah. I don't have a Twitter, and I don't be on Snapchat, so yeah, that's it.
DMs open for questions, like anybody know.
If y'all have any questions about anything I just said or anything that Trey said, yeah, just feel free to hit me up. I don't care.
All right, the legendary Vision had a very special episode today. And we out.